I recently took a trip to Taiwan and I spent some time in Taipei, and I had a chance to go to the Taihu Brewing Taproom, the Daan Taproom, also known as the Bodega, and I will talk a little bit about that in a minute, but first I'd like to tell you a little bit about what I saw in Taipei. I went to the National Palace Museum, which has one of the best collections of Chinese art in the world. It's a big place, and I think I need to go back there sometime to see a little bit more. I was only able to see a very limited part of it. It's really well worth seeing. And I also had a chance to see Taipei 101, the largest building in Taiwan and one of the largest buildings in Asia. At New Year's, apparently they shoot fireworks off the sides and the top. The Chiang Kai-shek Memorial or Mausoleum is also an interesting stop. There's a large park there, and if you walk inside you can see a statue of him and military guards, somewhat like the Beefeaters in England. And then here's a shot of the park from the top of the mausoleum area, and really quite an impressive place. And I went to Longshan Temple, one of the most famous temples in town, and very intricate carving, as you can see here, and some very serious people praying there on the ground and that sort of thing. And as a film studies and film history teacher, former film studies and film history teacher, I had to go to the Taiwan Film and Audiovisual Institute. But first, Taihu Craft Beer Tasting Room, Daan. And it's been open since 2019. They have 11 beers on tap when I was there and 4 guest beers. Sizes range are either 300 milliliters or 600 milliliters, and the price range is 220 to 600 NT dollars. No flights available, unfortunately. There were 6 seats available at the bar, 8 seats at the bar, and about 30 or so at tables. And the basement area is called the Bodega. It's famous for its cocktails. There was rather loud music there and quite a crowd. It was the most crowded place I went to in Taiwan. I wish it had been a little less noisy. The staff was kind of busy, kind of semi-attentive, but overall it was a good place to visit, and they had the best beer among all 3 places I went to in Taiwan. Let me talk a little bit about them now. So since the sizes, there were no flights available, I chose 3 glasses of 300 milliliters each. I had Taihu Brewing IPA, which is a 6%er, and they won the Best IPA award at the World Beer Awards 2023. It was dank and very weedy, grassy. Unusually rich maltiness and some honey in there, tropical fruit, and kind of overripe stone fruit, and weedy, bitter tracks near the end. It was nice. Very medium body, sits just right on the tongue. So tasty. Really well-rounded with great flavor changes. I also had their Taihu Brewing Oktoberfest Märzen 6.5%, which had rich malt, a very toasty, bready, kind of small tingling floral note as well. The malt was mildly sweet and had a bit of honey to it, and also kind of maybe a small umami note, something a little bit like buttered toast as well. It got a little metallic in the finish, but overall this was a very pleasant one. And the third beer I had was the most unusual one. It was called Taihu Brewing Wu Mei Smoked Plum Lichtenheiner, and the Wu is W-O-O-O-O. And Lichtenheiner is a kind of not a very common style. It kind of divides things up into thirds, so we get a third of Pilsner malt, a third of wheat malt, and a third of smoked malt. I don't know the exact percentages they used here, but it was unusual, 5.5%. The aroma was one of smoke, bread, Band-Aids, maybe a little body odor as well, and some light burnt rubber. So it was kind of what we call phenolic. The initial flavor was kind of mild, sour apples. The smoke was moderate. I did get a sense of woodiness, some tangy lemon, in the mix, and almost no bitterness whatsoever here. So it was rather unusual. It had a very light acidity and a small bit of astringency. So unusual stuff indeed. And something that we don't get around here very much. Very tart, light, and puckering. Phenolic, but interesting. It's kind of like a smoky Berliner Weiss or something like that. And I wonder if it's the first time they did this. Overall, Taihu Brewing is an excellent place. You can go to this tap room or to their Driftwood tap room. I've heard are the two best ones. They do have other ones throughout Taipei, and you can check them out perhaps and if you're there. So give them a go. Taihu.